So what I want is for Mr. Manning to write the W and say, Marcus was Johnny on the spot. He came up to my room, fixed my lights because I had an issue, and it took less than 10 minutes. You know, and that's what my goal is when I'm the manager, that when he's calling and he asks for me, I go. You know,
Did you feel that there was an ulterior motive for him to call, ask for you specifically to come to this room, knowing that you go in there and notice there's condoms and lube, like, okay,
that was in another room though. That
right.
was like in his
But do you feel that he
bedroom.
came up with something to entice you to come up to that room? Once you got up there, did you notice things were working that he said weren't working, or how did you feel when you got in there?
We do. We have a green building, and so like you have to turn on a certain light switch for these other lights to come on and stuff. Like, because if that light switch isn't on, then those lights won't come on. Mm-hmm. So it's a LEED certified building kind of thing. So if it was the TV or the lights or something, so.
Did he have a valid reason to call you? In your opinion, do you think he truly needed you to come up there to do what he has to do?
I'm not sure. It's thinking, in hindsight, thinking about it now, he stayed at our hotel enough to where you would think that he would know these things. But at the same time, that's what we do. We cater to our guests and we go above and beyond. So if he's confused about something, I'm not in a position to say, oh, he'll figure it out, or
right.
No, he doesn't really need anything.
I just wondered if he was creating a call
right.
in reference to having you specifically, other than just whomever,
right.
To come on. Did he talk to you prior to you guys engaging in any sexual activity? Did he talk to you about your relationship with him?
I think that's. Well, no, I think when we got in the room, the first thing that we were talking about was his problem, his situation, which was in one of the back rooms.
No, I mean prior to going up to the room.
No, ma'am.
Did he know that you were gay? Did he? Because you could tell. Did you know that he was gay before you even?
Yeah, I've seen the people he's.
So you're aware of that. Do you think that he felt that you were gay? And
we have a very gay population at the W.
Okay.
So it's not uncommon for the guests to know that I am gay.
So he could have picked up on that.
He could have picked up on that, absolutely.
Okay.
Caleb's gay, Josh is gay, Chris is gay. Everybody on this list is gay except for Allison. So I mean, it's like
there enough to know.
It's not uncommon there to encounter a gay person.
Do you know what Mr. Manning did prior? What he did for a job? Did he ever tell you or talk to you about that?
We Googled him a little bit, and
Who's we?
because he would, all of us,
Okay.
How often did he?
He came often enough for us to be like, who is this guy? He would talk about owning spas in Austin. He would talk about owning like all of this stuff. And all these people that he knew and all this stuff. And you never know if people are telling the truth or not. You just take it for their word until you find out that it's different. Mm-hmm. In that industry, especially when somebody's coming and spending thousands of dollars and lives in the city. Do you know what I mean? Which is suspicious behavior. He lives in Austin, or he's from here, owns businesses here, but yet would come and stay multiple days at our hotel. That's just, when that happens, there's things happening. That's just, we know people are either, probably partying, getting away from life, mistresses, misters, whatever you want to call it. We see all of it. Prostitutes, that's any hotel you go into. It's restaurants even. I've worked fine dining restaurants, and you see people wining and dining.
So you never knew what exactly he did. You just knew that he's talked about all this stuff.
He's talked about this stuff.
He never give you a title what his title was or anything like that?
I don't think so. I don't know if he has a title. He would throw around his I own this and I own this and I have this much money. I know on New Year's we had a crazy situation with him where we had to call like 3 limousines because he was kicked out of the hotel. He was kicked out of the hotel, and we had to get 3 limousines to take him and all of his friends to the Four Seasons, and he wanted it right now, and we're like, it's New Year's Eve, you know, limos are booked, you know. He's like, I don't care, and you guys are paying for it, you know, because our security team kicked him out of the hotel.
How often did he, like, do you stay a week, 4 or 5 days at a time, every other week?
Well, he suddenly showed up.
His pattern, I guess.
He suddenly showed up at our hotel. All of a sudden, it was like once Mr. Manning was there, we knew who he was. If that makes sense. It was like as soon as he made a name for himself, then all of a sudden he would call. He's one of those networkers. Once he knows somebody's name, he's calling you. He's calling you. He hated all the rest of these people. The rest of these people wouldn't deal with him except for Joanna. Joanna was the director, and she's great with people. She's so. He was very just, don't you know who I am, entitled. Once he knows your name, he wants to use your name. Is Marcus here? He always hooks me up with a suite at this rate. Or, you know, is Christopher here? You know, I'm looking for Christopher. Where's Christopher? Can I have his cell phone number then if he's not at work, right? You know, I mean, just that kind of demeanor. I hope I answered the question. I kind of forgot what the question was.
No, I was just wondering how often you stay, like, stay weekly or like 3 or 4 days?
He would, when he would stay, he would sometimes stay one night, sometimes he would stay a couple nights, but he stayed often enough for us to know who he was. I can't tell you how many nights he stayed.
All right, Mr. Freiberger, is it Freiberger? Sorry, I want to say Freiberger. Freiberger. Is there anything else that you think is important that I need to know about what happened that particular night?
No, there isn't.
You know, I just want to make sure that you tell me the whole truth here, because like I said, you know, I do want to know what your side of the story is, but I also want to know the truth of it. I want to know everything about it, the details, whether it's relevant or irrelevant to the situation. I mean, is there anything that you're missing that you're not telling me about?
No.
Okay.
I told you the whole truth.
Okay. All right. So what's going to happen from here is we're going to continue the investigation. I am just going to have to talk to people at the W and get some more information. And then once I know more, I can give you an update at a later time, tell you what's going to happen. I mean, just so you know, I mean, this is not you out of the woods at this point. I mean, you're still considered a suspect in this case. But do you have any questions for me before we're done with this?
No, the question I have for you though, well, I guess I do have a question, is why, you had said something to me on the phone that made me feel good, was you had said something like, if we wanted you, we would have come and got you already. What does that mean? You know, because for me, because like, to be perfectly honest with you, like, this makes me really uncomfortable and I'm really nervous. This is,
And it's going to be until you know or you hear from me saying that we've closed the case out, and I understand that. What I meant by that is that if I had a whole lot of evidence without you coming in to talk to me, that pointed to you, which in some cases there can be, not in your case, we would have gotten an arrest warrant right now, and we would have sent it out, and we would have sent the police officers out to look for you, and you would have been arrested for it. At this point now, because of the lack of witnesses in the situation, because it was just you and him in the hotel, it makes it very hard to gather the evidence that we're looking for. I'm not saying I don't have evidence, I have some evidence, but I also want to hear your side of the story as well. Because I understand that we do have issues with our victims not telling us the whole truth about everything, and sometimes giving us a truly false situation. And so I want to give the suspects a chance. I don't want to put anybody in jail who doesn't need to be in jail. But just because you're not in jail right now and I'm letting you leave and walk out doesn't mean that later on I'm not going to have the evidence I need to put you in jail. Okay.
That's
So,
not gonna happen.
if you're confident, you told me the truth and you're not lying to me, and I don't have to call you back and say, come back in and talk to me because I have something else I need to talk to you about, then you should be fine,
Right.
okay? But I still have to do an investigation to make sure that I look at every
Absolutely.
corner, every hole, make sure that I am 100% sure that you didn't do anything to this man, okay? And that's when the case will be closed. It could happen in a week, it could happen in a month, it could happen in a year. I don't know. It just depends on where I keep getting my evidence and where I find the information. Okay?
I have
Yeah.
one quick question
Yes,
for you.
ma'am.
You were saying, I think earlier in the conversation when we first started, you were talking about how he, like you felt he wanted to continue to have a relationship with you and try to make contact with you, and you're like, I'm just done, I didn't really follow up on anything.
Right.
How do you understand, what was it that he was doing? Did he make phone calls to you, text you? How do
He
you felt
would-
that he
would
tried to?
ask for me at the hotel.
Okay.
And this is after this
Yeah, this was
incident?
after, because you asked me if I had ever talked to him again after that.
Okay.
And I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't see him anymore after that.
But you know that he was asking for you?
Yes,
Okay, how do you know that?
because people, when you call, various people answer the telephones.
Okay.
Messages come from different directions, whether it's, you never know who answered the phone. But they would also call for other people, like Chris or somebody, like whoever was his current favorite, as in who he was getting along with the most. Do you know? So yeah, I never spoke to him after. But yeah.
Help me understand the reason why. Why did you never call him back or talk to him?
We don't know each other outside of the W. I never saw him. I never avoided him either.
So when you were still working there after this incident happened, you were never in the hotel at the same time he was in the hotel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Or that I know of. I usually know everybody, especially if they're in the suites.
there was no
we know the
reason for you
problem
to
guests.
contact him in any reason?
Right.
Because he wasn't at the hotel when you were, so there's no reason for you to contact him. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so all the messages you got were when he was not at the W?
Right.
Okay.
Wanting to call. And so when somebody's calling outside the W for a rate, or if we have availability, but right after that, I don't, because you're saying this happened in late February, South by. So he wouldn't have been able to book a room at the hotel because we were completely booked.
Yeah, you were done.
Slammed, and we had Ferrari and Lamborghini and the entire South by Southwest team coming to set up for South by, so he wouldn't have been at the hotel because it's crazy expensive rates and we probably didn't have the availability. So so whoever, we just didn't have availability probably for him or any of our regular guests. Any of our regular guests who are there on a weekly basis during South by aren't there.
So how long did you quit, or when did you quit working at the W after this incident? Like, how long was it after that you left?
Well, to be honest, these had no relation to each other.
But I mean, when was it? Is it 2 or 3 weeks that you worked there and then you were gone, or?
What happened was right before South by. So.
There was one other question I forgot to ask, which I have lost. There was one question. Was there any kissing between you and the suspect?
I know it's not an answer you like, but I have no idea if there's kissing or not. Like,
Okay.
it all happened so fast.
What was your duty? What did you do with him? Was there oral sex
I
as well?
received oral sex.
Okay.
Followed him to the room.
Mhm.
And then he continued oral sex, and then he wanted intercourse, and he got on the bed.
Okay.
And that's when he was on his back.
So you didn't perform oral sex on
No,
him? Okay. No digital penetration?
I'm sorry?
Digital fingers penetration?
Oh, I was like, digital. I don't think so. Not that off the top of my head.
Okay. No toys? Nothing
No,
like
no.
that? Okay.
And
All right.
honestly, I probably wouldn't have done that. Like, it just smells and being a fart. You know, it was just, you know. So.
Well, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you speaking with me. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call me. That's my direct line. We have it already. Any other questions before I let you go?
No, you know, when do I expect to hear back from you? Because, I mean, I don't want to be sitting with this for months, like, just in the back of my mind.
And I can't.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
And you can call me anytime if you feel like you need an update or want to know what's going on. But right now, I can't tell you that. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. Your case is not the only case. I've been working on this since February. Your case is not the only case that I'm going to be working on. I have other cases that I also work on. Not that yours is not important. So, so it just kind of, whenever I go down the line and your case comes back up and, you know, I follow a lead or whatever goes on, wherever it takes me. And when I think I've come to a dead end where I'm not getting any information, then I will know more at that point as far as when the case will be closed out, unfounded, whatever, suspended, or you get arrested.
I do have another question.
Sure.
So he's claiming that sexual assault happened, okay? On the 23rd, you said February 23rd, 25th?
Well, he told me the 25th. I've got to look back on my notes to find out exactly what the dates are, but
Okay.
it's one of those nights during that week, towards the end of February.
So did he call you the next day?
No.
So how long from the time that he claimed that this happened to the time that he called you?
It was a delayed reporting.
How long?
A couple weeks.
A couple weeks. Okay. Okay. All right.
Do you have any other questions?
No, do I get a copy of the police report?
You can get a copy once it's closed out.
Do I get a copy of his statement?
No.
What is
That is, unless you go to court or something, that's information that you're not going to get. And the report that you get is kind of limited.
Because, I mean, if, you know, if I'm being accused of sexual assault, you know, it's kind of unfair for me not to have his statement and what he's saying about me, you know?
And that's what the courts are for, to be able
Yeah.
to face your accuser at that point.
Yeah, but
If it goes to
I'm
court.
not getting a lawyer for this because I haven't done anything wrong.
Right,
You
but
know,
we're
so
also,
it's
we're
like-
not at the process of where we're taking anybody to court now.
Mhm.
If you happen to get arrested and you.
Well, yeah, if I get arrested, that's a whole different ballgame.
Exactly,
I don't
exactly.
that ever
But,
happens.
you know, no, that's probably not something, we don't allow that to be public information unless for whatever reason it goes to court, and that's when things become public. But right now, what we're is in an investigation, and, you know, there's information that we're not going to share with anybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
I would appreciate your discretion while talking to my coworkers.
I will
as
do
well.
my best.
As,
I can't promise you anything, but I will do my best. So.
what do you mean you can't promise me?
Well, I can't promise you, I mean, I'm not going to tell them what the specifics of the
Okay.
case is, if that's what you're worried about. That's not what I'm going over there for. When I say I'm going to talk to them, I'm going to ask them your character as a manager,
Okay.
and then I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'll figure it
Right.
out, but I'm also going to ask about the character of Mr. Manning.
Okay.
And
That's
that
not
is it.
all.
I mean, I'm not going to go there and tell them, well, you know, if you made a sexual assault report against so-and-so. I mean, that's not what I do
Right.
when I interview.
What I would, I don't know how, I've just been in contact with them.
Mhm.
I don't know how, I guess I'm cautioning you on, not that I should caution you, detective, so like, I don't think I'm like trying, like,
think there's some kind of law when
Right.
somebody is let go, that the only information they give me is, when you were let go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. That's all I got,
Right.
was the dates. And I don't even know if they gave me a date, but, they told me that you were let go at a certain time, and that was it. And that was all the information. I think I did ask, can I ask the reason why, and they can't do it because there's a certain law about that. So they may not tell me anything about your character or anything because of reasons of, the laws, what is it, OSHA or something, whatever laws they
It's
have.
just chemicals.
Is it chemicals? OSHA,
Labor,
HIPAA,
like labor
whatever.
laws.
HIPAA, hospitals.
Okay.
It's like
I've
labor.
been dealing with HIPAA and rehab, so.
Whatever laws they have as far as letting people go or firing
Right.
them, there are certain things that they cannot say and certain things they can say.
Right.
And what I've